In the vast reaches of the galaxy, an alien commander stood before his troops, his eyes gleaming with determination. He was about to brief them on a new enemy they would soon face: the humans. The commander paced back and forth, his voice echoing through the ship's halls. "Listen up. We have received intel about a new species calling themselves humans. They are said to be weak, primitive creatures, but we must not underestimate them." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Our orders are clear. We are to invade their settlements and conquer their planets. And if they resist," a wicked grin spread across his face, "we unleash the beast." The soldiers erupted in cheers, their weapons raised high. They were eager for battle, hungry to prove their might against these so-called humans. As the alien forces prepared for the attack, they studied the data on their targets. The human settlements were small, scattered across a few planets. Their technology seemed rudimentary compared to the advanced weapons and ships of the alien army. "This will be like crushing ants," one soldier sneered, loading his plasma rifle. The commander nodded in agreement. "These humans won't know what hit them. We strike fast and hard, leaving no survivors." With a final battle cry, the alien ships powered up their engines and set course for the nearest human colony. They emerged from hyperspace above a blue-green planet, its surface dotted with patches of civilization. Descending from orbit, the alien forces launched their attack on a small human settlement nestled in a valley. Plasma bolts rained down from the sky, setting buildings ablaze and sending the humans into a panic. The aliens marched through the streets, their armor glinting in the sunlight. They fired indiscriminately, cutting down anyone in their path. Men, women, children, it made no difference. The humans were to be eradicated. But as the battle raged on, the aliens began to realize that these humans were not as weak as they had anticipated. Though outnumbered and outgunned, the humans fought back with a ferocity and determination that caught the invaders off guard. From the shadows of ruined buildings, human fighters emerged, wielding makeshift weapons and firing back at the alien soldiers. They moved with surprising agility, using the terrain to their advantage, and setting traps to slow the aliens' advance. In the midst of the chaos, a young human girl darted through the rubble, clutching something close to her chest. An alien soldier spotted her and raised his weapon, but hesitated when he saw what she was carrying. In her arms was a small, furry creature, a puppy, no more than a few months old. The girl hugged the pup tightly, tears streaming down her face as she ran for cover. The alien soldier lowered his rifle, a look of confusion on his face. "What is that thing?" he asked his comrade. The other soldier shrugged. "Some kind of pet, I guess. Harmless." As the girl disappeared into the ruins with her puppy, the aliens pressed on with their attack. But the image of the child and her tiny companion stuck in their minds. What kind of species would bring such a defenseless creature into a war zone? Were these humans really as primitive as they had been led to believe? The aliens had come expecting an easy victory, but as the battle stretched on, and the humans continued to resist, a flicker of doubt crept into their thoughts. Perhaps there was more to these humans than met the eye. Perhaps unleashing the beast would not be as simple as they had imagined. As the battle raged on, the humans proved to be far more resilient and resourceful than the aliens had anticipated. They fought with a fierce determination, using every tool and tactic at their disposal to defend their homes and loved ones. The aliens, for all their advanced technology and superior firepower, found themselves struggling to gain ground. The human fighters were like ghosts, appearing from the shadows to strike quick, devastating blows before vanishing again into the ruins. Amidst the chaos, stories began to circulate among the alien troops, stories of human bravery and sacrifice. A group of farmers armed with nothing but pitchforks and shovels had managed to take down an entire squad of alien soldiers. A lone sniper had picked off a dozen invaders before being cornered and overwhelmed. But the story that captured the aliens' attention most was that of the young girl and her puppy. Soldiers reported seeing her darting through the battle, always one step ahead of the advancing troops, the small furry creature never leaving her arms. Some swore that the girl had some kind of supernatural ability, that she could disappear and reappear at will. Others claimed that the puppy was no ordinary animal, that it possessed a strange power that protected the girl from harm. As the fighting wore on, and the alien casualties mounted, the commander grew increasingly frustrated. He had expected an easy victory, a chance to prove the might of his species against these primitive humans. Instead, he found himself bogged down in a brutal, bloody struggle with no end in sight. In a fit of rage, he ordered his troops to burn the settlement to the ground, to leave no building standing and no human alive. If he could not conquer these humans, he would erase them from existence. The aliens set to work, systematically destroying every structure and hunting down every last survivor. Flames lit up the night sky as the settlement was reduced to ashes and rubble. But even as the aliens celebrated their victory, a nagging doubt lingered in the back of their minds. The humans had proven to be far more formidable than they had anticipated. And then there was the matter of the girl and her puppy. As the smoke cleared and the aliens prepared to move on to their next target, a scout ship reported an anomaly on the edge of the ruins. A small furry creature had been spotted wandering alone among the debris. The commander ordered the creature to be captured and brought to him for interrogation. If this was the same puppy that had been seen with the girl, perhaps it held some clue to the humans' unexpected resilience. The alien soldiers quickly located the puppy and cornered it among the ruins. But as they approached, weapons drawn, the creature let out a pitiful whimper and cowered in fear. "It's just a dumb animal," one soldier grumbled, lowering his rifle. The commander pushed past him, crouching down to examine the trembling creature. It was small and helpless, its fur matted with dirt and blood. Hardly the beast he had expected. But as he reached out to grab the puppy, it let out a growl far too deep and menacing for its size. The commander jumped back, startled, as the creature's eyes flashed with an otherworldly intelligence. Before the aliens could react, the puppy darted between their legs and vanished into the shadows, leaving them to wonder what other surprises the humans might have in store. Little did they know that the true nature of the beast was about to be revealed, and that the fate of both species would soon hang in the balance. In the aftermath of the battle, the alien forces regrouped and assessed their losses. Though they had managed to capture the human settlement, the victory had come at a steep cost. Many soldiers had fallen, and those who remained were shaken by the humans' fierce resistance. The commander, however, was not ready to admit defeat. He was determined to uncover the secret behind the human strength, and he believed that the key lay with the mysterious girl and her puppy. He ordered his troops to conduct a thorough search of the ruins to find any survivors who might be able to provide information. For hours, the aliens combed through the debris, but they found no trace of the girl or any other humans. Just as they were about to give up, a sharp-eyed soldier spotted something moving among the rubble. It was the puppy, limping and whimpering as it tried to make its way through the wreckage. The commander ordered the creature to be captured, and within moments, a group of soldiers had surrounded the puppy, weapons drawn. But as they closed in, the puppy let out a yelp of fear and scampered away, disappearing into the ruins once more. Frustrated and angry, the commander sent his troops to search every nook and cranny of the settlement. They overturned every piece of debris, searched every building, but still, they found no sign of the girl or her pet. As the sun began to set and the shadows lengthened, the commander was forced to admit defeat. He ordered his soldiers to return to their ships, leaving a small contingent behind to guard the captured settlement. But unbeknownst to the aliens, the puppy had not fled out of fear. It had a mission of its own, one that would change the course of the war and the fate of both species. As the alien ships lifted off and disappeared into the sky, the puppy emerged from its hiding place and made its way through the ruins. It seemed to know exactly where it was going, its steps purposeful and determined. Finally, it reached its destination, a small hidden bunker on the outskirts of the settlement. The puppy scratched at the door, whining softly until it opened to reveal the girl, alive and unarmed. She scooped up the puppy and hugged it tightly, tears of relief streaming down her face. "Good boy," she whispered. "You did it. You led them away." As the girl and her puppy took shelter in the bunker, the alien commander returned to his ship, unaware of the true nature of the creature he had been hunting. He believed that the puppy was nothing more than a harmless pet, a symbol of the human's weakness and sentimentality. But he could not have been more wrong, for the puppy was no ordinary animal, but a genetically engineered marvel created by human scientists to be the ultimate weapon against alien invaders. Its intelligence and loyalty were unmatched, and it possessed abilities that even the most advanced alien technology could not match. It could sense danger from miles away, communicate telepathically with its human companions, and even shapeshift into a fierce, unstoppable beast when threatened. And now, with the alien forces distracted and the human survivors scattered, the puppy knew that the time had come to unleash its true power. It would lead the humans in a daring counterattack, one that would turn the tide of the war and prove once and for all that even the smallest and most unassuming of creatures could be a force to be reckoned with. The battle was far from over, and the aliens were about to learn the true meaning of the phrase, man's best friend. For in the hands of a loyal and determined companion, even the most powerful weapons were no match for the strength of the human spirit. As the alien ship streaked through the starlit sky, the commander couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The puppy's escape and the girl's disappearance nagged at him, like a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit. He paced the bridge of his ship, his mind racing with possibilities. Could the humans have planned this all along? Was the puppy some kind of decoy meant to distract them from the real threat? He shook his head, dismissing the thought. No, the humans were too primitive, too weak to mount such a clever deception. The girl and her pet were simply lucky survivors, nothing more. Still, he couldn't ignore the uneasy feeling in the pit of his stomach. He ordered his scientists to study the data they had collected on the puppy, to search for any clues that might explain its strange behavior. Days turned into weeks as the alien fleet traveled through the void of space, heading back to their home world. The commander grew increasingly impatient, eager to present his victory to the High Council and claim his place in the annals of their species' conquests. But as they neared their destination, a message came through on the emergency channel. It was a distress call from one of their outposts, a small colony on the edge of their territory. The message was garbled and static-filled, but the commander could make out a few key phrases. Under attack, humans, some kind of monster. His heart raced as he ordered the fleet to change course, to head for the besieged outpost at maximum speed. Could it be possible? Had the humans launched a counterattack? As they approached the outpost, the commander's worst fears were confirmed. The colony was in ruins, its buildings shattered and burning. And in the midst of the destruction, a massive, snarling beast rampaged through the streets, tearing through the alien defenses like they were made of paper. The commander watched in horror as the creature turned its gaze towards his ship, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly intelligence. It let out a roar that shook the very foundations of the planet, and the commander felt a chill run down his spine. He knew then that he had made a grave mistake. The puppy was no mere pet, but a genetically engineered weapon, designed to adapt and evolve to any threat. And now, it had grown into a monster, a beast of unimaginable power. The commander ordered his troops to open fire, to unleash every weapon in their arsenal against the creature. But it was no use. The beast shrugged off their attacks like they were nothing, its hide impervious to even the most advanced alien technology. As the creature closed in on the ship, the commander had no choice but to give the order to retreat. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. But as they fled, the commander couldn't help but marvel at the ingenuity of the human scientists. To create such a weapon, to imbue it with the ability to transform and adapt, was a feat of genetic engineering beyond anything his own species had ever achieved. And he knew that this was only the beginning. The humans had proven themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and the war was far from over. As the alien fleet disappeared into the depths of space, the girl and her puppy stood amidst the ruins of the outpost, watching the sky with a fierce determination in their eyes. They had won this battle, but the war was just beginning, and they would be ready, no matter what the aliens threw at them next. For they had the ultimate weapon on their side, a creature of unimaginable power and loyalty, a beast that would stop at nothing to protect its human companions and to ensure the survival of their species. The aliens had unleashed the beast, and now they would face the consequences. For in the face of such a threat, even the most advanced civilization was no match for the bond between a girl and her dog. In the wake of the devastating attack on their outpost, the alien forces regrouped on their home world, desperate to find a way to counter the humans' newfound weapon. The commander found himself summoned before the High Council, his failure to contain the threat weighing heavily on his shoulders. As he stood before the council members, their faces etched with a mixture of anger and fear, the commander knew that his very life hung in the balance. He had underestimated the humans, and now their entire species was at risk. But even as the council berated him for his failure, the commander's mind was racing with possibilities. He knew that the key to defeating the humans lay in understanding their weapon, in finding a way to counteract its incredible abilities. He proposed a daring plan, to capture the beast and bring it back to their home world for study. If they could unlock the secrets of its genetic code, perhaps they could find a way to create their own super soldiers, ones that could match the humans' creation in battle. The council was skeptical at first, but as the reports of the beast's rampage continued to pour in, they realized that they had no choice. They gave the commander one last chance to redeem himself, to bring the creature back alive for study. The commander wasted no time in assembling his team, a hand-picked group of the most skilled soldiers and scientists in the alien army. They set out for the humans' homeworld, determined to capture the beast and turn the tide of the war. But as they arrived on the planet's surface, they found themselves facing a foe unlike any they had ever encountered before. The humans had been busy in the weeks since the attack on the outpost, fortifying their defenses and training their own army of genetically enhanced soldiers. And at the head of that army was the girl and her puppy, now grown into a massive, fearsome creature that towered over even the tallest of the alien warriors. Its eyes glowed with a fierce intelligence, and its teeth and claws were sharp enough to rend even the toughest alien armor. The battle that followed was unlike anything the aliens had ever experienced. The humans fought with a ferocity and determination that belied their primitive technology, their soldiers moving with a speed and agility that seemed almost superhuman. And at the center of it all was the beast, a whirlwind of fur and fangs that tore through the alien ranks like a hot knife through butter. The commander and his team found themselves outmatched and outnumbered, their weapons useless against the creature's impenetrable hide. As the battle raged on, the commander began to realize the true nature of his mistake. He had underestimated not just the humans' technological prowess, but their very spirit, their willingness to fight and die for their home and their loved ones. And as he watched the girl and her beast fight side by side, their bond unbreakable even in the midst of the chaos and destruction, he knew that he had been wrong to think of the creature as a mere weapon. It was a living being, with its own desires and loyalties, and it would never betray its human companions. In the end, the aliens were forced to retreat once again, their capture mission a dismal failure. They had lost countless soldiers and ships, and they were no closer to understanding the secrets of the humans' ultimate weapon. As the commander stood before the High Council once more, he knew that his fate was sealed. He had failed them for the last time, and there would be no more chances for redemption. But even as he faced his own demise, the commander couldn't help but feel a strange sense of respect for the humans and their incredible creation. They had proven themselves to be a worthy adversary, one that would not be conquered easily. And as he closed his eyes for the final time, he knew that the war was far from over. The humans and their beast would continue to fight, to defend their home and their way of life. no matter the cost. And in the end, perhaps that was the true strength of the human spirit, the thing that made them the most dangerous enemy the aliens had ever faced. For in the face of extinction, they would never give up, never surrender. They would fight to the very last, with every ounce of strength and courage they possessed. And with their loyal beast by their side, they just might be unstoppable. In the aftermath of the failed capture mission, the alien forces found themselves in disarray. Their commander was gone, their ranks decimated, and their morale at an all-time low. They had underestimated the humans and their beast, and now they were paying the price. But even as they licked their wounds and tried to regroup, they knew that they could not give up. The humans had proven themselves to be a formidable enemy, one that would not rest until the alien threat was eliminated once and for all. And so, the aliens began to plan their next move. They knew that they could not hope to defeat the humans in open battle, not with the beast by their side. They would have to be smarter, more cunning, if they hoped to emerge victorious. They began to study the humans' culture, their history, their weaknesses. They sent spies and infiltrators to gather intelligence, to learn everything they could about their enemy. And as they dug deeper, they began to uncover a disturbing truth. The humans' greatest strength was not their technology or their weaponry, but their bond with the beast. It was a connection that went beyond mere loyalty or affection, a symbiotic relationship that granted both parties incredible power. If the aliens hoped to defeat the humans, they would have to find a way to sever that bond, to turn the beast against its masters. And so, they began to devise a plan. They started by capturing a group of human soldiers, ones who had been separated from the main force during a skirmish. They brought them back to their ships, where they subjected them to a barrage of psychological and physical torture. But even as they broke the soldiers' bodies and minds, they found that their loyalty to the beast remained unshakable. They would rather die than betray their companion, their friend. Frustrated and desperate, the aliens turned to their own technology for answers. They began to experiment with a new kind of weapon, one that could manipulate the very fabric of reality itself. It was a dangerous gamble, one that could backfire in countless ways. But the aliens were running out of options, and they knew that they had to try something new if they hoped to turn the tide of the war. And so, they unleashed their creation upon the battlefield. It was a swirling vortex of energy, a rift in space and time that threatened to consume everything in its path. At first, the humans and their beast were caught off guard by this new threat. They had never encountered anything like it before, and they struggled to find a way to counter its effects. But as the battle raged on, something incredible began to happen. The beast, with its uncanny intelligence and adaptability, began to evolve before their very eyes. Its body began to change, to morph and shift in response to the alien weapon. And as it transformed, it became clear that the beast was not just a weapon, but a living embodiment of the human spirit itself. It was a reflection of their courage, their determination, their unwillingness to give up in the face of overwhelming odds. The aliens, for all their advanced technology and cunning strategies, found themselves outmatched once again. They could not hope to defeat an enemy that could adapt and evolve at will, an enemy that drew its strength from the very essence of life itself. And as the battle reached its climax, the girl and her beast stood tall amidst the chaos and destruction, their bond stronger than ever. They had faced the worst that the aliens could throw at them, and they had emerged victorious. The war was far from over, but one thing was clear. The humans and their beast would never be defeated, never be conquered. They would fight on, no matter the cost, no matter the odds. For they were more than just soldiers or weapons. They were a testament to the indomitable spirit of life itself, a force that could never be extinguished, no matter how dark the night or how powerful a foe. And as long as they had each other, they would never be alone, never be afraid. They would stand together, united in their determination to protect their home, their way of life, and each other. Forever and always, they would be unbreakable, unstoppable, undefeatable. the girl and her beast, the heroes of humanity, the saviors of their world. In the wake of their latest defeat, the alien forces were in a state of disarray. Their weapons had proven useless against the beast's incredible abilities, and their strategies had been countered at every turn by the humans' ingenuity and determination. But even as they struggled to regroup and plan their next move, a new threat emerged from within their own ranks, a faction of the alien military, led by a ruthless and ambitious general, had grown tired of the constant failures and setbacks. They saw the humans and their beast as a weakness, a cancer that needed to be excised from the galaxy once and for all. And they were willing to go to any lengths to achieve that goal, even if it meant turning against their own kind. The general and his followers began to secretly sabotage the alien war effort, undermining their own forces and sowing chaos and discord wherever they could. They hoped to weaken the aliens from within, to make them vulnerable to a final, decisive strike. But the humans and their beast were not content to sit back and wait for the aliens to destroy themselves. They knew that they had to take the fight to the enemy, to strike at the heart of their power before it was too late. And so, with the help of a few brave alien defectors who had grown disillusioned with their own leaders, the humans began to plan a daring mission to infiltrate the alien homeworld and take out their leadership once and for all. It was a risky gamble, one that could easily backfire and lead to their own destruction. But the humans knew that they had no choice. The fate of their entire species hung in the balance, and they would not go down without a fight. As they made their way through the alien defenses, the beast once again proved its worth as an invaluable ally. Its enhanced senses and incredible strength allowed them to navigate the treacherous terrain and overcome even the most formidable obstacles in their path. But as they neared their target, they discovered that the alien general and his followers had beaten them to the punch. They had staged a coup, overthrowing the existing leadership and seizing control of the alien government. Now, the humans and their beast found themselves facing a new enemy, one that was even more ruthless and determined than the one they had been fighting all along. The general and his forces were fanatics, willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve their goals. The final battle was a brutal and bloody affair, with heavy losses on both sides. The humans and their beast fought with everything they had, their bond and their courage tested to the very limits. But in the end, it was not enough. The general and his forces were too strong, too well entrenched. The humans and their beast were forced to retreat, to flee back to their own world and prepare for the inevitable counterattack. As they licked their wounds and tried to regroup, the humans knew that they were running out of time. The alien general and his forces would not rest until they had conquered the entire galaxy, until every last trace of humanity had been wiped from existence. But even in their darkest hour, the humans and their beast refused to give up hope. They knew that they had faced impossible odds before, and they had always found a way to overcome them. And so, as the alien fleet began to mass on the edges of their solar system, the humans and their beast prepared for one final stand. They would fight to the very last, with every ounce of strength and courage they possessed. They would show the aliens and the rest of the galaxy what it meant to be human, what it meant to have a bond that could never be broken, a spirit that could never be conquered. And even if they fell, even if they were wiped from the face of the universe, they would do so with their heads held high, knowing that they had fought with honor and dignity, knowing that they had never surrendered, never given up. For that was the true legacy of the girl and her beast, the heroes of humanity, the saviors of their world. And it was a legacy that would endure long after they were gone, inspiring generations to come and reminding them of the incredible power of the human spirit. As the alien fleet closed in on the human homeworld, the air was thick with tension and anticipation. The humans and their beast knew that this was their last chance, their final stand against an enemy that had proven itself to be ruthless and unrelenting. They had fought long and hard to reach this moment, had sacrificed so much along the way. But now, as they stood on the brink of annihilation, They knew that they had no choice but to give everything they had, to fight with every last ounce of strength and courage they possessed. The girl and her beast led the charge, their bond stronger than ever in the face of this ultimate test. They had been through so much together, had faced down impossible odds, and emerged victorious time and time again. But this time, even they knew that the odds were stacked against them. The alien general and his forces were too powerful, too numerous. They had the technology and the resources to crush the humans like insects, to wipe them from the face of the galaxy once and for all. And yet, as the battle began, something incredible happened. The humans and their beast began to fight with a ferocity and determination that shocked even their own allies. They moved as one, their minds and hearts united in a single, unbreakable purpose. The beast, in particular, seemed to be possessed of a new and terrifying power. It grew larger and stronger with every passing moment, its fur crackling with energy as it tore through the alien ranks like a force of nature. The alien general, seeing his forces falling before this unstoppable onslaught, knew that he had to act fast. He ordered his ships to focus all their firepower on the beast, to take it out at any cost. But the beast was too quick, too agile. It dodged and weaved through the hail of laser fire, its movements a blur of speed and grace. And all the while, the girl remained by its side, her love and faith in her companion never wavering for an instant. In the end, it was that bond, that unbreakable connection between human and beast, that proved to be the aliens' undoing. For even as they threw everything they had at the humans, even as they fought with all the skill and technology at their command, they could not hope to match the sheer power of that bond. And as the battle reached its climax, as the alien general himself stepped forward to face the girl and her beast in one final desperate showdown, something truly miraculous happened. The beast, in a moment of supreme sacrifice, leaped in front of the girl, taking the full brunt of the general's attack. It fell to the ground, its body broken and bleeding, its life ebbing away with every passing second. But even in death, the beast's spirit lived on. For as the girl cradled its head in her lap, tears streaming down her face, she knew that their bond could never be broken, not even by the cold hand of death itself. And with a final defiant roar, the girl unleashed the full power of that bond, the full fury of the human spirit. A blinding light erupted from her body, engulfing the entire battlefield in its radiance. When the light finally faded, the alien general and his forces were gone, wiped from existence by the sheer force of the girl's love and grief. And in their place stood the humans, battered and bloody but unbroken, their faces lit with the fire of victory. They had won. Against all odds and all expectations, they had proven once and for all that the human spirit could never be conquered, that the bond between a girl and her beast was a force beyond all reckoning. And as the girl knelt beside the body of her fallen companion, she knew that its sacrifice had not been in vain. For in death, the beast had given her the strength to carry on, to lead her people to a brighter future, free from the threat of alien tyranny. And so, with heavy hearts but unbreakable spirits, the humans began to rebuild, to create a new world from the ashes of the old. They would never forget the girl and her beast, the heroes who had saved them all. For their story would live on, passed down from generation to generation, a testament to the incredible power of love, courage, and the unbreakable bond between a human and their loyal companion. And though the galaxy might never be the same, though the scars of the war might never truly heal, the humans knew that they would always have each other, would always stand together in the face of any threat, any challenge. For they were more than just a species, more than just a civilization. They were a family, bound together by ties that could never be broken, by a love that could never be extinguished. And as long as they had that, as long as they had each other, they knew that they could face anything, overcome anything, achieve anything. For they were human, and they would never, ever give up. The end.